Come on, please. Yes! 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 Yes!
Hello everybody and welcome. This is episode number 45 of the 9 Dart Podcast, your one-stop shop for talking tungsten. We're recording this, it's just gone past noon on a Thursday afternoon in Melbourne, and the World Masters is upon us. The first ranking event of the new year, the full new year that is, of course. And I have Josh as always to preview it for me. We're doing this after the World Masters qualifier, which means we have a bit more to chat about. If we did this the day before yesterday, it would have been a bit, we would have been struggling a little bit. We would have had to cast aside some categories. But
we would have.
Josh is here with me to dissect all the recent news, and there's actually been a fair bit of news outside of, the usual results. There's been a few other things happening. How are you,
Sure
Josh?
has. Yes, very well. We're hitting 45 today. I'm a 13, double 16 type of guy. What do you do?
I leave double 18 as much as I have, but I go for 9 and I
Sure.
miss the single number, and now I'm mucking around on something else. That's what I try to do. But
Very
anyway,
custard. Anyway, we're here.
yes, I'm the first data to come out of the hand nicely, and then I'm pulling the data double 18 into the single 4, and then I'm mucking around on a double 8 that I don't like. Anyway, that's usually how it winds up. I end up losing the leg. It doesn't matter what way I go, Josh. I usually lose the leg. But we have. We've got to put in the first thoughts thing again, but we've got a World Masters this week, a few other things going on, a big weekend on the Asian Tour as those tournaments get underway, and a big week at Modus as well, as we're running for, what is it, season 13 now? They've been doing a lot of seasons.
Series 13 and week 2 this week.
Yep. And we've had a few crazy moments on the dartboard this week, Josh.
This is ridiculous. Look at this one. So it actually was in the treble 20 bed. There's actually a little white mark that you can see on the very bottom end of the wire, jumped out. Second frame goes in between the two and rests there. And for people wanting to know what that was scored, it was scored as 120 because the point at no time actually stayed in the bed.
It wasn't resting on
120 scored. Yeah.
Yeah.
And referee is very good to officiate that.
Absolutely.
Very crazy.
But we'll move towards the World Masters qualifier. We'll get back to Modus a little bit. But the World Masters qualifier has occurred sort of early this morning as we record this in Australia, and Bo Greaves, I thought she played really well, didn't make it through unfortunately, but she's on the board. She's got ranking money for the first time as a tour card holder up to, I think it's £1,000 for making it to the last 32 of the World Masters qualifier. A 170 checkout along the way, and she was in a group with Mervyn King as well, who, as we know, is a fierce opponent, and got the win over the King. So a strong start for Bo Greaves, a 170 along the way. So excited to see how she goes on tour this year. I feel like she's finally primed and ready to take on the Pro Tour. I'm expecting her to win a Players Championship event in the early half of the year. And she's got, again, it's similar at the UK Open like last year, where I feel like we're going to see her really star throughout that weekend coming up.
Absolutely right. Well, you got 34 Players Championship events to win, so I'm sure she'll win one of them, especially very early in the year for sure. But no, she was great, but unfortunately didn't get through to qualifying. But she was good from what I saw for sure.
Absolutely, 170 finish along the way, and some big averages along the way. Alan Suter was someone who really did have a very strong day, and Justin Hood as well, backing up off the World Championship. He won't be there, but I'm very happy to see Justin Hood put in some big performances. Again, I want to see this consistency from Justin Hood after we didn't really see it at all on the Pro Tour last year. Enough to get into the World Championship, where he was absolutely fantastic and such a great character, Justin Hood. So some big averages at the start of the year really does settle you down and feel like, okay, I can get into the groove of having a strong year.
Yeah, absolutely. No, well, you want to start well, and that's what he did for sure. But unfortunately didn't make it. But got all the way to get bombed out in the last game. So very, very good. Again, you want to get on top of it early, have a good start to the year and see where you can progress. But he's continuing his form off his incredible World Championship run, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Now, just stepping away from the World Masters, we will be back. Wayne Mardle put out some posts during the week, which I was very excited to see. He's going to be a bit more active on social media after some time away over the last little more than a year after his wife passed. But he will be. He confirmed that he will be at the World Masters. He's going to be on the ITV coverage. The more Wayne Mardle, the better from my point of view. And Club 501 is YouTube channel where Stephen Bunting was, I think, his very first guest, and he had a few different celebrities and and darts people on. Adrian Lewis was on it at one point as well, back when he was technically a tour card holder. So I thought it was a fantastic program. I thought it was a lot of fun. I was doing it in conjunction with betting agency William Hill. So that's going to be up and running later in the year as well. So good to see that Wayne is getting
April, he
better
says. Yeah.
and we'll see a few more of those Club 501 episodes, which I thoroughly enjoyed when they were coming out.
Sure.
He's trying to do a bit more with brands and different things at a certain point in time. So we might see the more Wayne the merrier, because I think he's fantastic. I think he's always given a little bit of extra something, a little extra oomph to darts when he was playing it. And he was in the Premier League with the Hawaii 501 and the Hawaii shirt. That became a very distinct part of his identity as a player, and I think he's carried that on as being a unique voice in darts. And I'm very interested to see how ITV cover the World Masters and whether it's any different to the matchroom coverage of the World Series recently with graphics and the team. But I think Wayne Mardle there does definitely give it an oomph, and him and Dan Dawson are the main two guys now in darts from a punditry and commentary point of view. So them together, as they will be on ITV's coverage, will be great. But Wayne Mardle's at the Masters, so that feels like this gives this tournament a little extra something.
Oh, for sure. I love the opening line high there.
Yes, I love that. I didn't even spot that the first time, but I went back to it.
So straight away, I'm like, oh.
And he brought that's his line. It's hi there. You can hear that in the you sort of read that in Wayne Mardle's voice. But
I sure can.
Excellent. I'm looking forward to see the more stuff that he can do going forward. And I really enjoyed Club 501 when it was happening. Stephen Bunting again, first guest. A few great episodes there, and hopefully we see a bit more going forward. A positive surprise from the World Masters qualifier was Jack Tweddle getting a few victories along the way, including knocking over some established names, particularly Andrew Gilding along the way. He's really building himself, Tweddle, after winning that ADC title.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, well, he had that £60,000 to his name at the ADC, and he took on some very good opponents. Andrew Gilding, of course, Goldfinger, which you've been liking at the moment, and I have to agree.
I'm always a Gilding fan.
You are. And then Justin Hood, as we spoke about earlier, he won 3-1 as well, but then unfortunately couldn't get over that last 16 hurdle, losing to Jeffrey de Graaf 3-0. But yeah, he was one of the positive surprises I watched. It was great in the ADC, obviously won it, but he's sort of continuing that form, and he's definitely one to look out for sure, no doubt.
He was one game short, Josh, of playing Stephen Bunting. That little qualifier, that little bracket of the qualifier was going to play Stephen in the first round. So that's going to be the draft
for the main draw now.
But yeah, so that would have been quite the step up for Jack Tweddle to go from the these ADC events up to playing an established Premier League player in a big major. So and that's what. And I'm going to do a bit of a volcano later on in the piece, Josh, because I feel like this World Masters we're improving year upon year, but in some areas we're not getting what I really hope that this World Masters, particularly this World Master qualifier, can really promise to be. So we'll get to that in a moment, but we do need to shout out all the guys who are winners throughout the World Masters qualifier who made that last sort of over the last 8 standing. Rasma de Graaf. Rasma, this thing is blocking my way. Josh, who's the one on the 4th here? I can't remember that.
Wessel Nyman.
Wessel Nyman, yes, of course. And if we go to the next slide, the other way, Lorenzo, this is the one. McGurk, Scott Van Ski, and the last one there, Josh.
James Hurrell.
James Hurrell, that's right.
Yes, who had a great World Championship campaign.
It's an interesting mix of players. 6 of those guys were automatically seeded into the last 64, but 2 guys have come through from beyond, and it's the 2 most recent Lakeside World Champions,
WDF.
Shane McGurk and Jimmy Van Ski. I think this is good news for the WDF, that they can still be a sort of feeder organization as we see the likes of the ADC and Modus Super Series in particular really grow into that spot that the old BDO left. But the WDF, the spiritual successor, particularly at Lakeside of the BDO, is still showing that it's a pathway, and winning at Lakeside, playing at that iconic Lakeside stage, where all those classic moments have happened, most notably Paul Lim's 9 data. That's still very much a pathway to get you all the way to the PDC stage. And I think McGurk and Vansky, I think their time is ready to be good on the Pro Tour as well.
I've been looking forward. As soon as I saw that, I'm very glad that they'll be in, because they got some fascinating matchups as well, which we'll get to later. But yeah, they're probably the most notable names, obviously coming from the WDF now, getting a taste of the PDC experience, especially, when it's a pretty big tournament, the Masters, especially early on in the year when you need to get a good start. So very
It's huge because
happy
now they've
about
got the jump on all the
Menske.
other tour card holders. So this
Oh,
could
of
genuinely,
course.
if they do keep hold of their tour cards in a couple of years' time, being in the top 64, we could go all the way back to the start and go, well, they got the head start on everybody by making their way through the World Masters qualifier and getting to the main event. And we'll see if they can add any more prize money and victories on top of it. That's still obviously to come, but I think for both of them, it's not just a great psychologically, just very good when you look at those standings of the rankings ladder. They're now clearly higher than everyone else who's beginning, including a few guys. I'll get to this in a second. Josh, this is where the Volcanzo comes in.
Yes.
Who weren't there at the World Masters qualifier despite qualifying as a tour card holder. So they've got a great start already, McGurk and Banski, and fascinated to see how they go on the tour and on the big stage thing. Won't scare either of them because they've done
Don't think
plenty of
so. They've
Modus
done it
Super Series
before.
and WTF stuff. The two most recent Lakeside champions. So they won't be too much of a fish out of water.
Absolutely. No. Any other names that surprised you? I'm loving that James Harrell came in and had a fantastic
James
World
Harden
Championship
surprised a little
form.
bit that he
Yeah,
managed to get
yeah.
through. Let me just go back to the last slide. Zonneveld is one that always has that potential. Resmer as well. I'm happy to see Wessel Nyman go through.
Yes.
We're waiting for that moment on the big stage where it really finally
It'll
clicks
happen.
together.
It'll
And he
happen.
gets a bit of luck on his way, perhaps, and he's able to hit a crucial double at big moments. So he gets another opportunity. Does Vessel? So they were the ones that really stood out. But Wessel Nyman was sort of out on his own a little bit, and Zonneveld to a less extent. Of the top, what's that, 16? If we ignoring Zonneveld there, I just left him there because he was 41 and it felt a little bit unfair not to just just to add that little one there. But a lot of big guys. These were the big guys who flopped, Josh, and missed out. Vandenberg, that top seed, Menzies, Edhouse, Ratajski. Dirk van Dijvenbode went down to Bo Greaves, which is a big scalp for Bo. Peter Rice continues to slide, as does Michael Smith.
Yeah.
Andrew Gilding wasn't able to make it. Ricardo Pietrezco was one who I thought would make it through these types of events. Joe Cullen, no. Martin Luckman's got his fair share of. He's been struggling with his grip and feeling the dart in his hand. So I'm not surprised that he didn't make it. Kevin Dutz, Ricky Evans is another one that gets through these types of events, but he did on this occasion. And Brendan Golan. Much more of these. Now there's a lot of players directly below who did get through, who were seeded players. Who made it through. But the guys at the top end of town who were right knocking on that top 24 door to get in automatically, they've fallen short. And a lot of them didn't really make that great of runs, I don't think. I think Ed House lost his first match. Cameron Menzies lost his first match. Wasn't able to punch his ticket to the Masters.
Pardon the pun.
Do you really want to? But yeah, so a lot of these guys, and like, for some of these guys, like Christopher Ratajski is probably not going to impact them too much. But for people like Peter Wright and Michael Smith in particular, this warring concern of where they are in their careers and whether they're able to get back to the top end of town is this. We just had another one to the well. He didn't get there. He didn't play. He didn't play well there.
No. Smith, he lost to Reece Griffin. That's a big upset. Menzies, obviously. Ratajski would like to see him at least go past another game there.
Yeah,
Your man Dirk, fraction disappointing as well. Peter Wright.
There's different levels to this one. Like
there is.
Dirk van Dijvenbode and Peter Wright are next to each other. I don't think this doesn't really impact Dirk van Dijvenbode too much.
No.
You feel like he's still going to get into things at any rate. But Peter Wright's in a position where he needs ranking money, any ranking money.
Oh, he needs it so bad.
He gets some of that by just being seeded through here a little bit, but it doesn't help him because the guys around him have also picked up that money, so it's a net zero. So he needed to get further on and just get a few wins under the belt, but he hasn't been able to do that. Michael Smith wasn't able to either. So I didn't get to the end of the preliminary stage and get into the TV stage. But for some of these guys, Richie Enhouse as well. After winning the European Championship, he's just sort of fallen back into the pack here, and he needs to make sure he has a good year. And the main thing he needs to do is make sure he doesn't do what he did last year and fail to qualify for the European Championship. He needs to get there because the ranking money is going to come off.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, so there you go. Interesting. Interesting. So they've all missed out, but I reckon there'll be some that have got the fire in the belly to make the next big tournament.
Yeah,
For sure.
yeah. There's a few here.
Only early on.
It's
Only early
not,
on.
yeah, it's early on. It's probably not going to affect them too much, but for others, looking at you,
It
Peter Wright and
does.
Michael Smith in particular, this is perhaps a little bit more on the concerning side. Right, it's time to get a bit
Sure.
cranky, Josh. I'm going to get a little bit cranky here in the next few minutes.
Let's do it.
Disappointing moment. The following guys did not had a tour card, but didn't compete. Barneveld's probably not going to bother turning up for half of these events. You feel like
Yeah.
it's probably going to be his last year, and your sense Peter Wright might be that. Mickey Mansell, I think, wants to take some time away from darts as well. I think Ryan Meikle's on his honeymoon or something, I read somewhere. Adam Leake
Nice.
wasn't there. I think he came back to Australia and is having I'm pretty sure I read somewhere he's having like a farewell party thing, and he's getting himself together. So he does need, by the way, he does need to actually win a game and get a piece of ranking money before he's 100% confirmed to go to the World Cup. You do need to actually win a game, or in the World Masters thing, win an event. Or win to get to that a few matches to get to the end there.
Get some money.
So I've read that. So I don't. Again, if he gets himself organised, and look, Corey Cadbury had the situation where he wasn't able to get to his visa course, but Corey Cadbury's history is sort of is tangled up in a bunch of different problems that Adam Leake doesn't have. So I don't think that'll be as much of an issue. It's just, again, he was getting a tour card at the time. He wasn't really expecting a tour card to get League, so he needs to sort himself out. Hopefully he's good to go. We'll see him at the first Players Championship event in that'll be a couple of weeks, I would have thought. Probably after the would have been after the first Premier League night, which is next week. But the real disappointing thing, the real frustrating thing, Josh, when they announced this World Masters and you looked at the qualification criteria, Challenge Tour, Dev Tour, Women's Series, Nottingham Baltic Tour, Australia, the CDC, Australia, New Zealand, and 4 guys from the JDC who did compete, but though you've got to be above 16.
Henry Coates.
There was so much potential for all these great matches and all these possibilities coming together of seeing guys play who we don't really see play, and perhaps putting them on a streaming board, and it would be awesome. Last year, I think we got 15 international qualifiers out of a possible 60 to 80 or something. This year we got 6, and almost all of them. Actually, they're all from Europe. They're all from the Americas as well. Gary Mawson, the former UK Open finalist, and a couple guys from Latin America or South America, but not a single player from Asia. So Alexis Toilet could have got there, Paul Lim could have gone there. No, now the fact they had an Asian tour event right off it as well probably impacted that a little bit. But no Australians and no New Zealanders. Josh, there is one thing they could do which could maybe just fix it, and this is where we come to the Volcano.
Here we go.
If we were more fancy podcast, if we're closer to something like what the Mission Darts podcast has, we could have this up in have some sort of graphic here and some sort of overlay, but we don't. We just have this still picture. But my Volcano this week, Josh, we've said it a million times, but they need losing money for guys coming over to events. Now, if you don't want to do that for the Pro Tour and you'd prefer the £10,000 for first tour card holders, fine. But if you get to the World Masters preliminary stage, if you get to the UK Open, which is one
UK Open especially,
events, you get nothing unless you win. And my head is in this weird spot. It's Milton Keynes, so it's famously not a great city. There can be a bit hassles to get through, but it's very frustrating that we have all this, like all the potential we could have seen. We could have seen, Tim Pusey against Paul Lim. Somehow that configuration could have happened. We could have had some amazing matchups, and Andreas Harrison could have been playing, Manluk Lung, who's had a fantastic few days. But
on the Asian tour on the weekend, we'll get to that.
Yes, exactly, and on the World Series as well. We could have had all these great, fantastic matchups that we don't usually see. Leonard Gates against a really top quality, against Johnny Tata, top quality from this side of the world, and it doesn't happen because they don't. And the PDC, look, there are times in the past where this would have been a problem where it would have been stretching resources too high, but they put millions into the affiliate tours, and very great. That's great to see. But the World Masters, this is a bigger tournament. This is a bigger thing. You've got to invest in that, and they did a little bit with the prize money restructure with that middle section, but the bottom section is still too out. And unless you have the ability to be a top 64 player, it feels at times that you can't. That being a tour card holder is like the worst possible thing you can do, because you've got Modus, you've got the WDF, you've got the ADC, you've got affiliate tours. That feels like a better pathway. And it's not even, there's no even point of even trying to show up for like a UK Open amateur qualifier or go to the World Masters qualifier. But they could if they just gave a little bit of money. And look, it's going to be difficult, and there's no perfect way to do this. And you could, is £300 going to be enough money to entice heaps
Cover
of
expenses,
maybe
at
not,
least.
but maybe you can get a few more. Because like it's a long way to fly from Melbourne to, I don't know, Heathrow, and then get your way into Milton Keynes by either
whatever it
I
is.
don't know if you can fly between London and Milton Keynes. You can definitely take the train. And you can I'm not going to make that reference. But you could get a few more guys over, but come on, we had so much potential, and we're only getting 6 guys, and they're all from, you know, they're the closest, and you got a few guys from not as far away. But we could see this. There's the great possibility. We didn't have any Australian entrances at the. There was heaps of opportunities, but obviously Damon Henson's already through to the main stage.
But the
fact that we didn't see any Australian representation when we're really missing the world bit of the World Masters, Josh. If you're going to open up all these avenues, you've got to make sure that the potential is there. There's sort of a safety blanket there, so that guys can come over and feel like it's not going to, you know, ruin their rest of darts plans for the next 6 months. Because now because they don't perform at the World Masters qualifier. Oh, now I can't pay the entry fee to go to the ADA event in Melton.
Exactly right.
So, it is so frustrating because it feels like the answer is so obvious.
Point.
And it's just Porter and the Hearns who have just done so many good stuff. And I tell you what, to be nice to the PDC, they can run a tournament. They can certainly run a tournament, and they can do like the Australian Open's been on this week, and the seeding thing is just losing my mind. Like, how is the 1 seed and the 3 seed? Why are Alcaraz and Zverev in the same side of the bracket? Like, come on, like fair dinkum. Anyway, like Alex de Minaur should not be playing the 1 seed as the 6 seed in the quarterfinals. Should be playing the 3 seed. Like, come on, I could have done this at like 8 years old. Structured you this tournament better. Anyway, that's a different. This should probably be directed at a different podcast. But the point is, they can. Yeah, exactly. They can run. They can run a tournament. They just miss. This is the one thing they're missing out. The PDC. It's a little bit more investment on those bottom tour card holders, those first-tier tour card holders. If you are good enough to make a World Masters preliminary round, a UK Open, you should be getting first round money, some sort of base level to build upon. And to be honest, I think
if you're going to have to be a tour card holder, you should get the money.
A knockout tournament instead of a group stage style format, and you could have like 70, 80 internationals come in and take on tour card holders. And you can structure it in a way that, well, some internationals are going to pair up each other, so a few of them are going to guarantee to get to the next round and get a little bit more money. So it is very frustrating, because I feel like that we've got so many, we're giving out all these opportunities, but we're not guaranteeing, you know, the best outcomes for those opportunities. And the only way you guarantee that is by making sure that it is worth it for Australians and New Zealanders and the Asian players. They can come over.
Exactly. Especially
we're seeing more JDC representation, because the JDC guys are from Gibraltar and England and Belgium, and that's closer. It's just right now, if you're an Australian darts player, unless you're at a Damon Heta or where Simon Whitlock was at his best, unless you're like a top 16, top 32 player, it's just not worth it. So
it's not feasible.
Yeah, exactly. So right now, how many? I don't want to be too late, because I probably wouldn't put them in this category. But there's not many players right now in Australia that where the trip to Q-School would be worth it. It's like maybe Raymond Smith.
I'd say him
on the downfall a little bit. But there aren't many others.
Yeah. Well, so who was that name you just mentioned? You just cut out. You said Smith, and then it was the other name.
I said Simon Whitlock's sort of at that level, but with he's sort of at his age, he's probably not going to play on it. He's not going. He said he's not going back to Q-School.
Unfortunately.
Maybe Mason Whitlock is getting in that direction. Obviously, he had to go to Q-School this year to make it through.
No, it wasn't good enough, unfortunately.
It's just so frustrating that the answer is right here, Josh. And the answer is, you know, if we take a little bit out of Matt Porter's payday and we give it a little bit, just a little bit of it to, you know, the actual guys that are making him money.
It can't be that hard. It really can't be that hard. Like, seriously, there's only a few names, a couple names even, that can actually have the money to go, you know, I'll give this a crack. And then if it doesn't workout, then it's okay. I've still got money in the bank to go to, the 6 ADA events that are going on, sort of thing,
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And
So that can
this is
happen.
good for the PDC because it gets you, if you did that first round money or the handouts to first year tour card holders, it makes it far more likely that your 128 tour card holders are the best 128 darts players anywhere on the planet, which is what the PDC should want.
That's
Their
right.
tagline was the Premiership of World Darts. That's what we should be looking for here. So
Yeah.
it's very frustrating. It feels like the answer is fairly obvious, and you can build it year upon year. So if this is an amount of money that works, and I think the World Masters is such a unique event. I love the format of the best of 3 legs per set. I like the fact that the preliminary rounds were increased from first to 2 to first to 3 sets. I thought that was good. It's definitely a setup from the old where it was just the top 16, top 24 didn't really mean much of anything until, the couple of years where they overpowered it by giving you a Premier League spot. It is so frustrating. But
talk about so many times where they should be getting some portion of money just to help them out, to cover even if it was just like for a hotel or whatever.
that's the
just
other
for
thing.
that
Like,
time.
where's the PDPA? Where's the Players Union? You feel like they
Players
should be able to
Association, that's their
sort
role
them out
to
as well. If the
sort them
PDC aren't
out.
going to be the ones bothered, if the PDPA are going to the PDC like, hey, we'd like first round prize money. No, we're not going to do it. All right, then we'll make sure to cover
Then
expenses
what?
ourselves. Instead, they take money from the players to be part of this union that doesn't actually do anything. Because it doesn't represent them, because it ticked off the Euro Tour changes, even though most players didn't like that. And like as I said in the last episode, I'm not sure it's actually doing that much to combat some of the issues that some of the players have that we saw sort of rear their heads a little bit at the most recent World Championship. So it feels like the answers are fairly obvious. It's just that we're not reaching them at the moment. We're not getting there just yet.
Yeah, very true. No, you summarized it very, very well. Again, it's just that small portion of money that they can take out from somewhere, someone's paycheck, or some money from the top end and give it to the lower end. Like
I
there's
don't
a
think
lot
you
of
even need to do that. I just think
prize
you need
money.
to.
Yeah,
I just think you need to reach into a vault somewhere that's currently being used up for nothing or being paid to directors or that sort of thing. And it's not the entire vault, it's just a little bit. And if we just spread that out across a small segment of players, it's 32 guys who show up to the
that
UK
lower
Open and
end.
lose in the first round. It's 32 guys who get their tour cards for the first time ever.
Yes,
It's that sort of thing that's again,
as a reward,
it could have bankrupted the PDC, in the mid 2000s. It's not in the 2020s with that Sky Sports deal and the ITV deal from TV and all the deals they must be getting to get darts into these arenas.
No, exactly right. Yeah, I think even if you, when you get the tour cards, you should have some sort of reward for doing so because it's a bloody hard thing to do, especially in Q-School. It's 5 days of back-to-back darts, so many games to be played. It can be tiring. Like Bullock, for example, he just said he can't do it due to his age and whatnot. Obviously, had the ANZ Premier League success, but not wanting to go that extra level. So
Even off like here's how you get your tour card if you don't have one. You've got to like make the World Championships. You've got to do all of that and then like get into the World's Top 64, which is what someone like Luke Littler did. He did that. You got to play an entire mammoth year of 24 events or whatever it is on the Challenge Tour and Dev Tour, and then finish like in the top 2. Or you got to go through this lottery of Q-School, which may even start in phase 1. So you might play like 4 to 7 days of darts in a row and hope that that guy misses match darts out on board 32 because that's the only way you'll get into dark green on the dartsranking.com website. It's a bloody difficult thing to do, and we could just make it a little bit more easier, or more, well, not even easier, more rewarding if we just made it
absolutely
more incentive for guys to go to these World Master qualifiers, because we have, like, as I said, this Women World Masters, it's a big step up from the old Masters. Now, perhaps from my point of view, Stephen Bunting won the last one, so perhaps it's gone backwards because he hasn't kept on winning it. But in terms of a format, it's been promising, and we're building in the right directions. But we really should have more than 6 international qualifiers. When you're advertising that we could have as many as like 80 or something from all these different organisations, all these different people. But because at the moment the Asia, New Zealand, Australian place is just not worth the trip.
Yeah. No, exactly right. Well, we got to move on because we need to discuss who's going to win it.
It's not worth the trip for a tour card holder. Like, Roman Van Marvel will be guaranteed money going to an exhibition, but not at a not at
Very
not at a
true.
World Masters qualifier, which is why he skipped. And I sense this is coming the beginning of the end for Barney. Right,
Mm,
it's the beginning of the end of that conversation in the sense that I'm
yes,
ending it right now. And we're going to move
sounds
on to a
good.
great debate. Who wins the World Masters, Josh? Who or at least who
Exactly
makes some
right.
runs? I'm actually going to try and get the bracket in front of me to remember it all.
I
Um,
have it right now on the Wikipedia page.
yes, exactly.
Whilst
Some
I
interesting
say,
first round matchups.
mm,
One that stood out for me the moment the draw was out, 'cause the draw was done for some reason before the qualifier was done, which makes no sense, is was Ryan Searle playing Hyun Van Veen, the battle of
mm,
two guys whose darts lay flat into the board. I
flat.
thought that
Yeah.
was one that could be a fascinating match. Van Gerwen and Damon Heta could be the most entertaining or
Yes.
most hard to watch match of all time, and very little in between. That's how I get the sense out of that match. We're looking at the main draw. Um, but when we put the qualifiers in, I think Jim Vansky has a good chance against Ross Smith.
Yeah, that's
Connor
one game I'm
Scots
really
can
looking forward to
definitely
seeing.
play up to and give Josh Rock a game. I think Vessel Nyman and Johnny Clayton could be a lot of fun. Shane McGurk against Nathan Aspinall as well. Mattis Rasma, I feel like could really give James Wade a good shake there. How are we
Yes.
looking at this bracket? What are our first sort of takeaways here, Josh?
Yeah, well, you mentioned a few games you're looking forward to. I had a couple as well. Clayton versus Nyman, that could be really good just to see
Yep.
how Westwood Nyman goes in the first big tournament of the year. I'm interested to see how James Hurrell goes. Obviously, great World Championship, got the qualification. I think he could give Gezi a little shake up, but we'll find out. What else am I seeing? I'm interested to see how Bunting goes, number 7 in this
You're telling me,
tournament.
Josh, he needs a big year. A
He
lot of
needs
people
it.
are starting to turn
Yeah.
against my man. I'm
No?
here for life, but I feel like if he wins this tournament,
Oof.
then that'll shut everything up. Even if he
Oh,
like
yeah.
right, right. I feel like if they
Premier
both win,
League.
it's Stephen Bunting, Danny Noppert in the last 16, and I feel like he needs to win it just to prove to all those people Danny Noppert is not Premier League material.
That's right.
If he gets beat, then that conversation will keep on going. Not that it matters because they've done the fixtures, and we'll get to that in a moment.
No, for
But
sure. Any upset wins you could see,
who can I see
potentially?
upsetting? I could see Jermaine Watermana getting the better of Chris Dobie. Um,
Yes, you can see that as well.
Potentially. Again, I
Shane
feel like
McGurk, I'd be
Vansky's
really interested to see
possibilities.
how Shane McGurk goes.
I could
Very
see
interested.
I could see both Vansky and Ross Smith having a go.
Really looking forward to seeing how Venski goes as well. That should be a
Moto
cracker.
against Wade, they're sort of the big ones that stand out. It's not going to be easy against these top 16 players who are just so established and
Mm,
can get themselves out of trouble here. Like Mike Dedeker could go 2-0 up against Luke Littler, and you still wouldn't put Mike Dedeker as favourite because Luke Littler's going to come roaring back.
yeah, exactly right. You're saying top and bottom half of the bracket. You see someone making a deep run. That could be a bit
It's a hard thing
interesting.
to do now because we're sort of doing this for the first time because we didn't have the
I
full
know.
bracket.
I know.
We sort of had a weird like three-quarters of the bracket. We were waiting for the last 8 spots.
Yeah, that's all right.
Who could make a
On the
run?
fly.
That's a bit of a surprise.
I'm looking at matchups now. Well, if you're on the
It's hard
top
to see.
half,
It's
you
hard to
have
be
to
like.
run to Luke eventually. So,
Yeah. It's hard to say like. It's hard to see anything that would actually be like a genuine surprise. Like Gary could make a run, but we kind of expect that now that he has that ability to keep going on in tournaments. Up to world number 6 now, Anderson. We need to get him
yeah.
in the top 4 so he can turn down the Premier League spot. That would be hilarious. Um, what Johnny Clayton as well. It was really good
Yeah.
last year at this event. I feel like this is a format that could suit him. Stephen Bunting's won this old BO World Masters under this format twice. He made a quarterfinal last year. He won the tournament in Milton Keynes the year before that, so he likes the venue. He's gonna have to run to Luke Humphries in the quarters though, if they both make it.
Mm. It'd be funny if it was Bunting versus Noppert in that second round to
Yeah,
see
exactly.
who's are these guys really in the Premier League sort of thing. That'd be kind of funny.
Yes, it would
So
be.
yeah, I can see Bunting going on a bit of a run. I
It'd be
can
funny as
see
well
that.
if he met Aspinall later in the tournament as well, given he was another one who was traded out for the Premier League spot there, Bunting.
Mm.
Um,
He'd have to probably run into Humphreys, I would assume.
yes, you would assume that in the quarterfinals.
You
Yes.
see, you assume he'd beat Chizzy, and then yeah, Schindler.
The
What
big
else? Yeah,
question though,
you
Josh,
think?
does Luke Littler
Yes,
get this trophy on the mantelpiece? He's only had one crack at this.
wouldn't be
He hasn't
surprised. Would not be surprised. Plays the Decker first, then could run into either Smith or Will run to Smith or Venski. Yeah, look, you think he'd be a favourite for obviously won the inaugural title just
I'm really
last
struggling
week.
to like find like an outsider that's like a real outsider.
Like a real one.
Maybe a Daryl Gurney could go on and pick up a few matches. I hope not, because he played Bunting in the second round if they both won, given he's got knocked at first. I feel like that's a possibility, maybe.
Searle, potentially.
I guess
Yeah.
so. He's world number 8, but he doesn't feel like he's won. He's not the 8th best player in the world, right? So he's a top 16 player, but not a top 8.
That's true.
Maybe.
Time will tell.
So I am genuinely struggling to pick out like a real surprise name, but like who don't like Jermaine Wanamaina could genuinely run into a Chris Dobie who's not playing that great, an MVG or Damon Hunter that isn't playing that great. Sometimes I don't know. With the two Welshmen there, Clayton and Price, and even Neumann, their games can sometimes they can throw in a stinker out of nowhere, but I can't really see. Watermeter might be a chance, maybe. Well, Watermeter is probably the most likely of anyone who's not a seed to make that last day. I feel like personally, just when I look at his bracket. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if he lost first rounds. It's just
Yeah, there's a lot of potential winners, that's for sure. Absolutely, it'd be very interesting to see how they go. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing McGurk and Vanski, especially just to see how they'll go in their first taste of PDC darts for the year, no doubt.
Absolutely. Are we going to try and pick a winner again? We've really only had a few hours to look at this bracket.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Why not? Yeah, give me a sec. Look,
the other thing I wanted to mention,
yes,
is the fact that Jan van Veen didn't make this tournament last year. He lost his win and get in playing game to Karen Menzies of all people. So maybe he's one to look out for as one who can really emerge.
Yeah, I think
but you know what I mean.
I think Van Veen will be hungry after losing that final. I'm sure he will be.
Thinking. That's why I'd like to see him win it.
Yeah, he's got.
I'd love to see Bunting win it. Obviously,
after half of the bracket.
4 months,
he can make a run.
He's barely won anything. He's played reasonably well. He just hasn't been able to win.
So what's on his side?
I could absolutely see him playing well and still losing to DeGraff, or playing okay and still losing.
In that semi-final, he could play. Yeah, it's most likely he'd play Humphreys, most likely, or Bunting. Yeah, sure.
He has the wood over him. He's got the wood over him.
He has. Yeah, interesting. All right, should we go for just a final matchup quickly?
You just pick a final. Just pick someone from the top, someone from the bottom.
Okay. All right.
This is so.
It's hard because literally we've only had a few hours to have a look at it. If not,
I'm so tempted to either pick like the obvious ones or go really out there.
Me too. I want to pick an obvious one, but I don't like the obvious pick. You know me.
I do like the obvious pick, but
I know you do, and you did it well.
Again, I'm not sure. We talk about this a lot when Luke plays the short formats, and that's the way to get to him. It's only best of 3 legs per set, so you've sort of got a short format even within a longer format.
Within it, yeah.
So I don't feel like the best of 3 sets plays to the advantage anywhere as well as the traditional set play, best of 5 legs per set does.
Well, we haven't touched on my man Josh Rock at all in this tournament.
Oh no, we haven't. We should mention him. He's playing on a Scuts.
He is definitely deadly, and he could again play Littler what would be in that quarterfinal. Sure.
He played well at the World Championships. He just ran into a Justin Hood who literally couldn't miss a double until the very
11
end.
Out of 11 or 12 out of 12, whatever it was.
It was 11 out of 11.
Remarkable, yeah. Crazy.
And then he was like 1 out of 5 or 1 out of 6 on his match starts.
Yeah.
So he didn't even end up with the highest percentage of the doubling for the tournament. I think that went to Nitin Kumar, but
I can see
in our hearts it was.
I can see Rock making it for sure. All right, I'll go Rock in the final, and on the other end of the bracket, we'll go Humphreys. Rock versus Humphreys. Rock for the win. Done.
All right. I hate to do this to the guy I'm going to pick as the loser of this tournament because I love him.
You're boring, aren't you?
No, I'm not gonna. I'm allowed to go because we only brought this recently. I'm going to go a little bit wilder.
Okay.
Johnny Clayton from the top half, who made the final last year. Jan van Veen from the bottom half. And sorry, Johnny, I'm going to have you losing in the final for a second straight year. I'm going Van Veen to go one better than the world final. Van Veen beats Clayton.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Makes sense.
You can see that happening.
I absolutely can. Absolutely. No, I like that. Very good. Well, we'll eagerly watch it.
World
Look,
Championships, Johnny. I
there's so
feel
much that could
like
happen.
I could see.
So much that could happen.
I'm gonna say that. That's kind of what I. If Bunting doesn't win it, that's the kind of final I want to see happen.
Yeah. How far do you think Bunting will go, personally?
Look, if he makes to a quarterfinal, it's a pass mark. I feel like he should try it.
Yeah.
If he can get to a
That's a
quarterfinal and
pass, I'd
then
say.
maybe he gets beaten by the. We should mention Luke Humphries is the defending champion. It should be noted here.
Yes. 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 Yes.
This is the problem with Luke Humphries is.
Hence why I've got him in the final. Yeah.
Yeah.
So De
No,
Graaf.
I'm gonna have him get to the semis, and then Van Veen's gonna beat him again.
Okay, there you go. Interesting.
Oh,
Very, very good.
I'm as part of this ball, I'm gonna stretch it out a little bit. We're gonna get to like the final night. It's gonna be the semifinals are gonna be Littler, Clayton, and Humphreys, Van Veen, and we're gonna be like, oh, we're gonna see the Lukes and Lukes again, and then they both lose back to back. That's my cherry on top of my previous prediction.
Steering away from the PDC, you've got some JDC stuff going on,
Yes,
haven't you?
absolutely. So their Q-School event happened during the week at the UK and at Belgium as the European version, and these guys were the winners. I'm not going to read them all out, but they are on screen for the YouTube viewers. Audio listeners need to go back and you'll have to see that. So I noticed that Toby Clements, who won the UK event was up there pretty much at the top of the standings all the way through that event. And then by winning that last event, was able to get some clear up some space on that order of merit a little bit. But congratulations to everyone who's got there. I think this is for the advanced tour. Got wins. Should note out another Mongolian. There's a few Mongolians coming through at the moment, and they had
flag.
and they had a good weekend at the Asian tour as well. So some future stars coming through. So congratulations to all of those who got through the JDC Q-School. Whether it was in Belgium or in the UK.
Well done.
Well done to everyone. A tough event to get through, but fascinating to see
tough.
if we can see like I was about to say Shane McGurk. What's his name? Mitch Laurie. For a second, his nickname Wee Socks was the what was going to my mind. Whether we can see someone like that as well emerge, because it also feels like at the moment, the person who's going to stop Luke Littler at the World Championships is more likely to be someone on this screen than anybody who's a current tour guide holder.
Exactly right.
So, well done to those. They're our collective future stars for the week. Right, let's get into some latest news. The Premier League darts, look, it's gonna be a bit samey probably as it always has been the last few years with the format, but we can enjoy the fact that we're going to see some top quality darts. And I will say, Josh, I am genuinely looking forward to the Antwerp night 2 on February the 12th, February the 13th.
Yeah.
And I'm genuinely interested to see what the Belgium crowd is like and what atmosphere we get, and that will be early enough in the Premier League. These are the fixtures courtesy of the onlinedarts.com team. So they're on that opening night in the quarterfinal stages. Rock will play Clayton, Littler will play Van Veen, a rematch of the World Championship, which is what we usually get on night 1. Humphreys plays Price, and then Bunting, who ran into Van Gogh twice in the World Series, runs into him again. And then night 2 for that Antwerp night, I'll just read the first 2 nights. Littler plays Humphreys in the first match in Belgium in the Premier League, which feels like a real get to the venue on good time, folks. You won't want to match the big one, which we're doing first. Van Gogh will play Rock, then Clayton, Bunting, and Price Van Veen. I will say, when you look at this, you probably have this. You could probably have this opinion. You probably did have this opinion before you saw it. But now that you look at the schedule and you look at Stephen Bunting's route, all right, he's going to play MVG the first night. Okay, the next up after that, he's playing Johnny Clayton, who we know loves the Premier League, and then he's got Jan van Veen, Championship finals. Then Luke Humphreys, Formula World number 1, world number 2. Then he's up to Gerwin Price, who is someone who, well, sometimes he plays well in the Premier League, some nights he doesn't. If by that point he's pointless, he's cut a long way drift, then the next night he's up against a Josh Rock who might have hit the right form at that point in time. Then he's playing Luke Littler. He might have to play Luke Littler again the next week. Like it just becomes, oh no, it's hard to see where these points are coming from, Stephen, my man. But who knows? He can turn it around, and maybe he hopefully starts that turnaround this week at Milton Keynes at an old faithful.
Very true.
Look, it's probably gonna. It's what it is with the Premier League. It's a little bit repetitive. I will still look forward to Littler Humphreys because it is the best and most enjoyable matchup in darts and will be for some years now. But other than that, look, it's going to be a little bit repetitive, but I'm genuinely looking forward to see what the Antwerp night has in store for us, Josh.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. We'll eagerly look forward to that, and we'll do a full preview on that next week for sure.
We will, and we will try and see. Look, last year, if I remember correctly, our Premier League predictions. Look, a lot of people we all had Stephen Bunting doing much better in the Premier League than he ended up doing, as we know.
Yeah.
So it's hard to see. It's gonna be a hard thing to do. Like if Bunting's the easy, he's probably going to finish last, which he might very well be. But who's going to finish second last?
Mhm.
Like it's going to be a top quality player. So
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting. Look, is it going to get propagated quickly? Almost certainly. Will we still cover it every week and watch it every week? You bet I will.
Do well.
And as I said, I am genuinely interested to see what the Antwerp night is like there in Belgium. Right, the Asian tour got underway. Paul Lim didn't have a particularly great weekend, it must be said. I was following pretty much every match he played, and he was going out early in a lot of tournaments in the early-ish stages. But there's still 24 events to go. But
There's still plenty of time.
if you get off to a good start, it's definitely good. Harukai Muramatsu won back-to-back Asian Tour titles. Big day for some of the Japanese players, Josh.
Absolutely. No, had some good averages along the way. 4-1 in the top 128, 4-0, 4-3, 4-0, 4-1, 5-3, 5-4, along with averages. Lexus Toilo, yeah, averages around the sort of 80 to 90-ish mark. Had a couple
going up into the mid-90s.
94. Yeah, really good stuff. Really good stuff. So that was the first tour, and then the second one again, very good. Actually played a lot better in this one. 80 to had a game. Look at the final, 99.6251. That is incredible. That is so good. So had a very good couple of days. Yes, Paul Lim top 64 in that second one there. So
yeah, look, it wasn't a great weekend for
unfortunately.
He wasn't able to quite get off to a good start. The big reason why he made Ali Pali and beat Jeffrey de Graaf in that memorable match was the fact that he did get a good start, and he actually won a couple of events earlier. And even though he didn't have a great last weekend, it was enough. I'm just going to bring up the Asian Tour World Championship race in front of me. So Muramatsu's out on top. Manluk Lung is second. Ryuta Arabahara third. Sakai is fourth, and then the Mongolian there whose name's on the screen that I'm not even going to try. And I'm looking forward to hearing Owen Biggs try and tell him he requires 170 if he makes the World Championships. He's currently in the top 5. Right. Notable names: Christian Perez is 7. Alargan 8. This is the race for the World Championship, which is different to the seeding, which is a 12-month rolling system. Alexis Toilo is 12. Paul Lim is 29. Noel Malakdam, who nearly beat Peter Wright the year he won his first World Championship, is 24. Azumoto 21. Nishikuma 36. Lockie Lee, who you see there, Muramatsu been in the last 64, so he's named 38. So they're the names of note that I've been able to see. I thought I saw Tomoyo Goto's all the way down. It's equals 74. That's a long way down.
Oh wow.
He also did not have
far down.
Weekend. Oh, Mokuri Suzuki played. I didn't even notice her name watching the events, but she picked up $200 and she's 68 on the race for the World Championship, which is better than some, that's for sure.
Better than some, for sure.
Yeah, so that's where we stand in on the Asian Tour after the first 4 events. We'll be keeping you up on all of the Asian Tour and all of the tour news, and keeping an eye on seeing whether any of the World Championship qualification. I'm just going to run under the assumption, Josh, that the World Championship qualification is probably going to be the same as last year, with the exception of a second spot to Africa, which we take away from a tour card holder qualifier. I hope that's what they do. But
that makes sense.
We will see. That would be ideal.
I was going to say, I should note in the first game the first day in the final, rather, when the 5-4 victory, he was actually down 4-2 and then won 3 legs on the spin to win it. So that was pretty cool. So that was a great fight back. And also a joint highest average ever seen. Sengchi Ju, I think that's how you say it, hopefully. Joint highest average ever seen on the Asian Tour, 115.62 average when there was a whitewash against Manluk Lung in round 2. So that was pretty impressive.
And strong names here from Momatsu as we see the Asian Tour 2 events on screen now. Paul Lim, Christian Perez, Nitakuma, Noah Malton, Playwood Tan, and then the Mongolian. So it was a strong performance. That was the Asian Tour, which got underway in Dubai at the weekend.
Monlok Lung and also
Arihara
Arihara won Asian Tour 3 and 4. I should mention they also picked up a title, which is cool.
Yes.
Got some money for them, but we've got a new board.
We've got a new board. So Windmill have got the Blade 6. There are a few different Windmill boards that were certainly going to the public and where people were interested in saying, okay, which one is going to be the new board? It will be the Blade X that will be on. So we'll see it for the first time, certainly in a televised situation at the World Masters, I believe. Windmill and these boards are looking pretty good. It looks like the wiring is even further in and even harder to see. I wonder if Michael Van Goen's record average, and Phil Bars mentioned this on the live lounge. We've been talking too long for me not to mention that podcast. He mentioned Michael Van Goen's record 123.40 average on the TV, and whether
what could have been higher as well.
It could have been way high. It could have been up in the 130s. Well, could we see a 130 average on the TV on these sort of boards over a short format? He was laying that out as a possibility, and he'd love to see it. That's certainly a possibility going forward. That we could see that sort of thing. Interesting how the Blade 6 plays. It's a quality. Windmill have done have put together some great boards at the moment as the supplier. Interested to see how these ones fare on the stage. And
sure.
Yeah, and the fact that they are now, and they've signed a long-term deal as well. It's not like a 10-year deal or something. A lot of long-term deals now.
Record breaking.
Darts. Ken Collins, stay away from darts, or you won't be too happy. That's an Australian football reference that I don't think a lot of our listeners will get, but I've thrown it out there anyway.
I'm sure a handful might know.
A handful might know what that was about. But yes, a few long-term deals. We saw that with the Littler deal with a Target locking him down for a long time. They've done the same thing, PDC and Windmill. It also helps the fact that they're rebranding the World Masters, and the fact that they've got Windmill as the board supplier and not a unicorn as they had for a long time. That certainly helps with that event in particular coming up this weekend. But we'll see the Blade 6. We'll see how it fares. It should be noted, and the Mission Darts podcast, we're talking about it this week. Price of tungsten, Josh, it keeps going up and up. It's like gold, apparently. It's just getting more and more expensive. It's tripled in like the last few years.
Wow.
And yes, so keep an eye on that. If you want to buy something, buy it as quickly as possible. So I've sort of talked about this on and off over the last year that we've been doing this podcast. These tungsten is getting more and more expensive trying to get over from China. So yeah, keep an eye out on that at the moment. Now I'm fascinated to see how the Royal Rumble of Darts works. We've been hoping, a lot of us have been like wanting this sort of event in a PDC context for ages. The Modus Super Series feels like a promising round. A lot of familiar faces were in that in the promos that they've done. The likes of
this is hilarious promo.
Harrison and the Adrian Lewises of the world. Fascinated to see how they go about
Jeff Smith as well.
When is it exactly, Josh? Is it this weekend at some point?
I actually don't know. Hang on. If I edit this and scroll down, it might say. I know this is very unprofessional.
There it is. That's what we saw.
This Friday.
It's 6 o'clock now. This will be UK time, and then it's on
Saturday as well.
Saturday on the Modus Super Series. So I'm trying to do the conversions into Australian time. We're like 11 hours behind. Oh, I say Australian time on Melbourne.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
It's hard for me to do this all. Hopefully people will be able to watch it in some context over the weekend. We will talk about this next week. Interested to see how this one goes, and I hope the PDC do a similar sort of thing. Imagine Phil Taylor walking out there as the last man. Gosh, come on now. He comes back for one match, one leg of darts.
One last.
Tony's got to come through me. I don't expect that, but I'd expect to see, a lot of the faces that have been thrown about in promotion for this sort of thing. So interested to see how the Royal Rumble of Darts works. For those unaware, this is based off the idea of the WWE event of two guys wrestle in the arena. The scripted winner wins, and then they pull out the next guy, and it goes through until number 30 comes out, who wrestles. So you can win the first 29. We know it's WWE, so we know it's not
Legs.
exactly it's not exactly a surprise to the people who
29 legs.
wins. You can win the first 29, and then the great champion comes out at number 30, and he unsurprisingly wins. The old veteran. Oh, how did he do that? I wonder. No, look. This
Funny.
one hopefully won't be scripted, and if it is scripted, Josh, the DRA will have
Boo.
years to go through it until they eventually come
look.
around to maybe eventually sometimes banning someone. But interested to see how that concept of they'll probably know who the players are, and we might know like some of the names who will show up there, and they'll probably just draw names out of a barrel. Right, you two are playing each other,
Maybe.
and then you're playing the next guy, but we won't tell the audience until you're done. But
No.
interested to see. I think this concept can absolutely work in the
It'll be good. Look forward to it. Well, look, you can see all the names back there. I don't know who made this graphic, but give them a race. It's incredible. You got Devin Peterson, Harrison. I think John O'Shea's on the left there. Jeff Smith, who was a series winner. Robert Thornton there in the back. The Bronze Adonis Beaton. I think that's Connor Heenahan on the far right. It's hilarious. So I think hopefully they're all playing, because I would like to see Adrian Lewis back on the stage for sure as well.
Yeah, he could be a genuine contender for that number 30 spot. Anyway, Steve Green won the first week of the 13th series of the Modus Super Series. Josh, 80 average in the final. Henry Coates defeated in the final match of the weekend, and I was watching a little bit of this at the time, certainly that Saturday night.
Yes, he absolutely loved the win. Good to see young Henry Coates make a good run. Obviously, made a good run in the pre-stage to the World Masters as well, which is good to see. So he's on the up, which is good. But yeah, Steve Green, 80 average, 180, 40% on the checkouts, highest checkout of 84 in the end. So he's the first name to Series 13 Champions Week.
Yes, this is what the second week is going to look like. I see Richie Burnett. That's one name that strikes out. It's right in the middle. Yes, that's the first one I've grabbed. Yes,
Richard McKee, he won a week there, I know for a fact. Mark Dudbridge, he's a regular. Tommy Morris. Jose Justique, I know that he's on debut. I forgot what country he's from, but I saw
Spanish?
somewhere circulating.
I
think he's Spanish. Yeah, I think he is. I saw some.
It's a hard thing to do these things online, Josh, because right now, like the the 5 names on the right-hand side of this graphic, I can literally only see the first letter, because I've got the I've got us here on the side here, and I guess there is a way that I could minimize this or change it, but I don't want to do anything, so I want to make sure we have a podcast versus me trying to make it easier for myself, and then we lose something somehow because I accidentally pressed the wrong button. But that's the week.
Good names.
Screen, some good names there, and I believe that guy you mentioned is from Spain. Cool. This is what the Group A table looked like at the end. These names I
Tommy Morris dominating.
Tommy Morris, the winner, 13 wins, 2 losses, 58 legs, 1 strong start for Tommy Morris.
Plus 27 on that leg difference. That's very.
Well, I can't see that number, Josh. That's been blocked here as well.
27 leg difference, 26 points. So there you go. The next best is Rob Grundy, 9 wins, 6 losses on 18 points. So there you have it. But this is more fascinating to us. Let's go to the next page.
Hey, has this happened to you before? Is this your first draw?
No, I've had a draw before. So this week was against Ryan. It was a 5-5 draw. The tail of the tape was as follows. I was down 3-0. I came back to make it 3-2, and it was 4-2. Then I won the next 3 legs on the spin to make it 5-4. And I'm like, and that leg that I won.
It's for the match.
Sorry?
It was you had the opportunity to win. You guaranteed yourself a point. Now you're going to win.
Exactly. So, and I was on throw because I had broken the last leg. So I'm like, if I can just stay straight, and unfortunately choked. But it was a well-fought draw, to be honest, because I was in absolute shambles at the start. I was in a world of misery. I could not hit a double. I was going to my double 16, double 8, double 10 tops combos, and there was just all over the shop. It just was not working out. But a good gritty draw. Don't have a table, unfortunately, for you because, unfortunately, JP, the admin, his WhatsApp got all messed up. But hopefully next week we'll have something for you. But I'm 1 loss, 1 draw, so probably somewhere in that middle of the table there, I would assume. Yes, and this week, Jody Webster is the opponent. I've versed him before. Played. There you go. That was That was sharp. That was sharp. Played him before, so not sure how I went against him, but that'll be good. So that's the third week.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Now, this is the World Masters coming up. You might have not realized this yet, but it is coming up. It is starting tomorrow. I'm going to try and get the audio-only edition of this podcast out on your providers before it starts. Most people might be listening to this after the first round started anyway, so keep that in mind when you're realizing how bad our predictions are. Luke Littler is playing Mike Tedeka. I've actually wrote down the order of play here, but I just named like the seeds. So Dobie, Anderson, Wade, Aspinall, Clayton, Price, Van Gogh, and Van Veen's matches are all on day 1. Day 2, these are the last 32 matches. Schindler, Ross Smith, Noppert, Searle, Rock, Littler, Humphrey, Stephen Bunting is the last match here, and Jeffrey de Graaf play the last match of the first round. They're playing Thursday, Friday nights there in Milton Keynes at the MK Arena. And then we get into the last 16 on the Saturday, and then the quarter semi and finals will all be played on the Sunday. So that's coming up. That's the big event in darts this weekend. The Premier League is also, well, it's only about it's a week and a day away, Josh. So we
comes around quick, hey.
Premier League darts coming up. That first night is in Newcastle, I guess is what the folks they would call it. Jockey Wilson and Phil Taylor played in the BDO World Masters of 1990 in the final, and Philip got the victory. I wrote last week on this slide jockey with an E, because that's how you normally spell the word jockey. His nickname was always without an E, so I had to fix that up. It went to a last set tiebreak, which you wonon't see at the World Masters. They haven't bothered to continue that sort of thing, and I don't know even how long they did it, because I imagine not all of these World Masters necessarily were all played under the exact same, got to win by 2 legs in the last set. But Phil Taylor got the win in a closely fought affair in that tiebreak. I think it was 4-2 in the last set. So that was 1990 in the BDO. Where are we going, Josh, this week?
Where are we going? This is a bit of a dig, but we're going actually to the WDF side this week. I dug so hard to find a full game, and I couldn't find it. So I'm like, right, let's go to the WDF sides. Bo Greaves versus This is
technically this event. I'm going to go back a slide. This BDO World Masters and this WDF World Masters, they're technically all the same event here. Whereas the PDC World Masters is a different event that was first won by Phil Taylor in like 2013. It was then won several times over by Michael Van Gogh, and Stephen Bunting beat him in the final in 24. And then it's got a new name and it's become a ranked event, but it's still technically all the same history. But they're trying to latch on to the Masters. And the big difference here you'll notice is it is a leg play, not set play, because the WDF changed the format, which didn't make it. They were able to get Winmau for this 1 year, I think, to be the technical sponsor of it. But without the best of 3 set play, it just didn't feel the same. But it's still been held a little bit over the last few years. And yes, Bo Greaves has been one who's played in the women's events.
Yes, exactly. No, so I tried to dig hard for a game on the PDC side, but I'm like, you know what? Let's go to a WF game. Why not? So Greaves takes on Japanese Star in a cracking semi. She actually takes the leg Uchi after the 7 legs, but will Bo claw her way back? A very young Bo Greaves on screen there. It's a very tight tussle. Will we take it all the way? Find out next week.
Because I'm not 100% sure on the outcome. I will say that having Bo Greaves on is pretty fitting for a darts archive as we build into. It would have been so much better if she actually did make it through to the main qualification stage.
It would have been great. Yeah, that one's about a 15-20 minute watch, so not too long of your time.
No, certainly not. Usually shorter than anything I do. I'm going to have... I don't know what I'm going to do for the Premier League next week. I've got a few ideas.
There's some great games. You got a whole open field to do.
Yes, I do. I think I've got an idea for... I'm gonna layer the my darts archive homework assignments for next week. I think there's multiple different ways I'm gonna go through this. Right.
All right. Sounds good.
This podcast episode is coming to an end. Josh, we have made our selections for the World Masters despite not knowing the draw until just after we both woke up, or at least the full draw in its entirety. Next week we will recap the World Masters. I'm sure it will be another great event. I enjoyed last year's one, and enjoying. I really like this format. So fascinated to see how it goes this year. The Premier League will be upon us, and anything else that's happening, there'll be Modus action. The Royal Rumble is a fascinating watch. So keep
I'm looking forward to that.
I'm gonna sit down and watch a lot of that as well whenever it pops up on my YouTube feed. and try and work out what time it all gets underway. All right, Josh, I think we'll wrap it up here. Any last words before we sign off?
No, that's about it for me. We'll look forward to seeing the first big tournament of the year for sure. Lots of great names, and it's going to be a very, very good tournament. But thanks for being here. Good fun.
This episode will be available as an audio only shortly after it goes up on YouTube, because I feel like with these Premier League nights coming up, Josh, we're recording these on Thursdays, and the Premier League comes up on a Friday. We should probably try and get it done before the Premier League even starts, theoretically.
Yes.
Well,
I'll say hopefully this will be either the last or second last online before we get back. We'll have to work out timing for that eventually, but we'll come in when we get to that. Hopefully this is
we might have a
second
few
last
in
one
there at a new studio that is close to completion. I've been told through the grapevine. Shout out to all the folks at the Homescan Sports Series who do a great job. All right, thanks very much, Josh. And enjoy the World Masters this week, everybody. I think it's going to be a fascinating event. And best of luck with whoever your predictions are. Best of luck to your favourite players. And enjoy another big week in darts. Next week, we're previewing the Premier League as well as reviewing the World Masters. This has been the 9 Dart Podcast.